Now, we have a caller. We've got Peter from Wavell Heights who's wants to ask us a question about olive oil. Hello, Peter.
Oh, hi.
How are you going?
Yeah, good. What's so funny?
No, we're all just laughing because I think, did we surprise you a little bit there?
Yeah. Oh, you're on the radio. Hello.
Now, listen, I'm the perfect person. I have just come from Olive Oil Haven down in little old Sicily at the bottom of Italy, and I visited probably about 3 different organic olive oil production or plantations or farms. And, what's your question?
Well, as luck would have it, yesterday's colour magazine of the Weekend Australian had a double spread on olive oil.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, what struck me was it said, now keep your olive oil always in a dark bottle, which I do, or our family does. But it said, never use a pourer. Now, we always use a pourer. Now, it didn't actually elaborate as to why you should use a pourer. So if you could just
elaborate as to why. The reason probably why I'm thinking, to be honest with you, Peter, yes, I have a pourer as well, but I go through a reasonable amount of olive oil, and as I would imagine you sound European, so I would say that you would too. The reason
but I'm from a dairy and milk drinking country and a beer drinking
yes.
part of Europe.
Okay.
But no, I've been converted to olive oil.
You've been converted. Well, that's good to hear. The reason why they would say not to use a pourer is because using a pourer would let the air come in and let any kind of I suppose any bacteria or anything like that go into the oil, and ideally you really want to keep the oil as pure and clean as possible. Olive oil or extra virgin olive oil is actually a fresh product. It is the juice from an olive. So any kind of juice, whether it be if you make like fresh orange juice or something like that, if you're going to keep the top off fresh orange juice and leave it sitting out, it's going to kind of, the flavour will lessen, it'll get bacteria in it, the air, it'll oxidize a little bit more. So the thing is to keep it closed, keep it in the dark green jar in a small, in a cool place, and preferably in the pantry. And that's probably why. And Jake, you're a bit of a fan of olive oil.
I am, yes. I do use it everywhere and everything. I think on the salad, you heat up this, you heat up that. But I've just learned something just in that break when we were having a discussion. I actually, when my bottle's empty, I just get those big 4-litre canister tubs and I just refill my bottle because I'm a student and I find that more of a saving budget-wise.
Which is great, but you shouldn't use your same bottle to just keep replenishing. After you've finished that amount of olive oil that's in your bottle with the pourer, Peter, I'm not sure if you do this either, you need to scrub out the bottle, clean it out with hot...
I never do that. No.
Oh, you need to scrub out the bottle with hot soapy water, because what's happening is you're then pouring... The oil does deteriorate once it's open, so you are then pouring your fresh olive oil into your slightly kind of older olive oil, and then it becomes a little bit rancid. So you want to kind of keep it really fresh. Awkward.
Yeah,
but look, Peter, thank you very much. And
hang on before you go. So ideally speaking, they sell the olive oil in those, the vernacular is goon bags, those.
Yes.
But they would be ideal.
They would be perfect,
As you empty them, the air doesn't get through.
Precisely. That probably would be a better option.
And I also would, if you would mind, discuss olives in general, because the quality varies enormously, like what you get at the farmers' markets or what you buy at the supermarket.
Of course.
Well, look,
what we'll do is we'll get an olive oil expert on for next Sunday, and so keep listening. I hope you are a bit of a regular listener to us, and I'll get an olive oil on next Sunday, and we'll talk all things olive oil, and then I'd love for you to give us a call back if you've got any further questions. So thanks very much, Peter. Okay, awesome. You're welcome. I love using olive oil. I mean, I pour it on everything. I pour it in. Actually, I bought like an €8 bottle of organic olive oil over there, which was cheap.
€8, that's cheap.
Oh God, I know it. It cost us like $15.
Did you bring any back?
Well, no, I used it in my tub because the weather over there in my bathtub. So I was bathing in this organic olive oil.
Why are you so dark?
Can I tell you, I have never felt so luxurious in my whole life. I'd turn up at dinner and everyone would go, "Dom, we can smell you a mile away." But it did make my skin look gorgeous, but it was just so wonderful just pouring this extra virgin, freshly pressed olive oil into my tub. I tell you what. Very Sophia Loren.
There must be a limit bringing it back. You know how you can only bring back like 1.25 litres of alcohol?
Yeah.
They probably got you at customs with a whole bag full of this organic olive
No,
oil.
because I used it up there. Now, listen, speaking of olive oil, I have this pudding. I need you two to try it. I would like to get your opinion.
Been sitting here for
on
quite
my
a while. Just like,
on my pumpkin, spiced pumpkin polenta pudding. I used olive oil to roast the pumpkin with a little bit of cinnamon,
I want to get on board.
nutmeg, and some brown sugar. So the pumpkin was roasted. I then cooked up the polenta. Now, polenta, for those of you that don't know or aren't familiar with polenta, it's a cornmeal. It was actually it is typically Italian, although it is very much used all over the world in different forms. Now, picture this heated. I've made a lovely honey custard to go with it, and
but it has the best texture.
It's got a lovely smooth texture
smooth,
to
but
it.
then the polenta's like a little bit gritty, but that's what it's meant to be, and it's nice. It's a really nice texture.
I'm going to be honest. I thought polenta pudding would be more dense. But
Yeah,
it's actually very light.
It's really light because what I've done is I whipped up. I mixed in some egg yolks. So basically the basic recipe for polenta is 1 cup of polenta. You can buy polenta in the supermarket. It usually is yellow, so it's a ground cornmeal, and you can also get it in white, in a white form as well. And it's 1 cup of polenta to 1 litre of liquid. Now, if you're making a savoury polenta with cheese and butter, it loves fat.
Yep.
So cheese and butter, you would use 1 litre of stock, whether it be chicken stock, vegetable stock, or milk. And stock, cream and milk and stock if you're wanting that richness to come in sort of earlier on in the piece.
We do it a little bit differently though. We've constructed a way with no cream and no butter and no stock. So it's we did 160 grams of polenta to 1 litre of milk.
Yeah, you can do milk. Yeah, beautiful.
It's just, and I think it's just a lot better. Like, there's no butter, there's no stock, there's no mucking around, there's no, you know, it's
and you
nice
can
wet
infuse your
polenta.
milks like your stock's infused.
Most
so
certainly.
you can put your bay leaves and your peppercorns and whatever.
Garlic and
that's
great.
for your savoury
That's
polenta.
right, yeah.
Then you can make it. No, it does need seasoning, and you guys are going to have to agree with me.
Oh my God, yes.
Don't go light on the salt because it is bland. And I've had so many people that have had polenta and have said, "Oh gosh, no, I don't like it. It tastes like
They
nothing."
haven't had it right.
No, you haven't had it right. And this is why I kind of say season it really well. Maybe throw in some fresh herbs into it too. You can put cream or butter, as you said. You don't need to. Blue cheese or Parmesan cheese right at the end is delicious because it gives it that lovely
Parmesan
bite.
cheese, of course. Yeah, you need that.
Parmesan cheese. The great thing about polenta is it can be eaten in many different stages. So you can have it lusciously creamy, like a soft polenta. Fresh out of the pot. You can actually pour it into a tray and let it set and then cut it.
And fry it. We know exactly.
And you can make polenta chips. You can...
How do you do that?
The polenta chips.
Yeah.
You do polenta and roll it between baking paper and then bake
thin.
very thin and then bake it in the oven. And then you can cut it, score it and bake it in the oven.
And you can cut it that way.
Yeah, and cut it after it's been baked, or you can cut it before and then bake it into a sort of a medium hot oven, which will crisp up the polenta.
Is polenta really high in carbs? Look, what is...
Well, it is a corn, so it's, I suppose, general, but it is a healthier, I would say this is a healthier...
than potato.
Healthier option
to wheat
than to wheat, and a great alternative if you're gluten-free because it makes wonderful addition to stuffings. I've made this beautiful slice, which is, I've whipped up the egg whites.
That's a great idea.
That's why this is so light, but you can use it for slices and cakes. Cornbread you can make. I also put some almond meal in this as well. But yes, it's extremely versatile, and a really great pantry staple, particularly for this winter weather too. Now, Murray is winding us up really badly, so we've got to go, have a break. We'll come back and we're going to be talking champagne. We're going to be talking to my mum, and we're going to be talking about frugal cooking. So you're on
you can't
Fresh.
Cook being frugal.
Yes, you can, darling. You can cook on being frugal. Wait till you chat to my mother. 13 13 32, Fresh on Sunday, and we'll be back in a minute.